Hello students, today we're going to work on lesson 3, step 2. So lesson 3, step 2, which is creating the solid model of the vehicle. What we're going to do is you need to open this up. So file, open, and locate your F1 tutorial. So you should have about, where it should be up to this stage here. We're going to, very important, see this is black dot right here in the F1 tutorial. Go down and select the car body and make that the black dot visible. This means I'm working currently in this part. Go ahead and select extrude, pick the surface, and let's change some settings. This needs to be offset 24, the distance needs to be -8, and what you'll see is it's going to make this a distance away from the shape here. I'm going to click OK. So you can see here I've got my sketches open. If I turn off, click that, that's going to turn off that sketch I've just made there. I'm going to roll my view down to the bottom by holding the shift in the scroll wheel. I'm going to create a sketch now on the bottom of my work. Now if your vehicle flips over, you can rotate on the top right corner to get it to look kind of like mine now. The first thing we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and click the line tool. I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to select somewhere about there, not quite the top. I'm going to make an angled line. Click. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to click this point and hold my mouse down. That's going to allow me to make a curve. Okay, curve to about there. I'm going to let go. I'm going to go back, click and hold it. I'm going to now make the curve to this point there. So you can see it's a nice smooth curve. Alright, I'm going to scroll my thing to the side a little bit. Next up, I'm going to try to make a line. So I'm going to click there, I'm going to go back, click it again, and this is going to allow me to create a nice smooth curve there. Next, we're going to add a few dimensions. I'm going to go up and select my dimension tool. I'm going to click and dimension this angle line. Make sure it's on the angle of about 10. I'm going to make the angle from here to here, that angle there, of about 10 degrees. I'm going to click on this one and I'm going to make the radius of this one 100. See, it will kind of play around with some things a little bit. Okay, now this has messed up my work, so I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to click this point here and I'm just going to drag it back a bit so that my line looks nice. At my dimension, I'm going to dimension from this dot to the corner of this point. That should be 4. So now I have a nice smooth curve. Now we're going to go over to this side. We're going to add a dimension here from this point to this point, and that's going to be 3. Our next move now is we're going to work on making a nice little air duct. We're going to use the spline tool. So click on create and spline. Let me give you the right one. So create spline. We'll go fit point spline, probably is your best one. Okay, so it's important that you look at the tutorial PDF that's available on Sector or on the Fusion tutorial to get a rough idea how it's meant to look. So I'm going to click about here, and every time I click on my screen, it's going to change the way my curve looks. So to finish a curve, you right click and go OK. So you can see here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. Let's check that I've got it kind of the way I like it to look. I probably only need 4-point curve, so I'm going to delete this and try it one more time. So let's go create spline. about there. To about there. Come up to here now. And then to about there. Alright, that looks pretty good. So at this stage, we're going to carry on with adding a couple dimensions. So we're going to zoom in now to this point here in the spline. We're going to use the dimension tool. We're going to make a dimension here of 2 millimeters at this point. And we're going to make a dimension from this point and this point, the height to be about 3. The distance from this point to the origin should be 30. Okay. Next up, I'm going to find the third point. So I got 1, 2. There's my third point here. Okay, I'm going to make that one from end to end about 120. And I'm going to make it, actually that doesn't quite look right, let me delete that and try that again. I'm going to give that a dimension from this point to the origin of 120. And then the height from here to the origin should be about 8. Okay. Alright, the next move that I want to do is control the handle here. So if I click on that one there, I'm going to add a dimension of the handle, and this one's going to be 40. And I'm going to set this to be about 20 degrees. So from here to here, that should be 20. And I want this point, from this point to the origin, to be 170. Okay, so let's zoom out and see what we've got. So you see I've got one profile, two profiles, a middle, and the bottom. So this matches up with what's on the PDF tutorial. I'll click Finish Sketch. I'm now going to extrude. And what I want to do now is select these 3 surfaces. And I want to pull it down. So you're going to see in a second what it's going to start to look like. Let's see if I can rotate this. Right, so I want that one to go down about 15 millimeters. So we're going to change it to profile, one-sided, 15. Alright, next up, we need to kind of look at this inner edge here, and we want to add a curve to it, which is called a fillet. So this is your fillet tool. You're going to fillet this edge, and I want that one to be 15. You'll see in a second, it's going to curve that edge. We're going to go OK. I'm going to use my fillet tool again, and this time I'm going to pick this edge here, and I want that one to be 5. I'm going to click OK. This completes lesson 3, step 2. So this is just 1/2 the vehicle. Go ahead and click Save. It might ask for version description. I could call it lesson 3, step 2.